Look what time it is.
Oh my goodness. It's 5 o'clock! What's up, guys? Welcome to the first episode of 5 o'clock. I'm Steven Koch.
And I'm Antonio DeVille.
We've got a great show for you guys today. We're going to talk about a couple movie reviews. And since the festive holidays, we're going to teach you how to make a brand new beverage at home for your parties. Oh my gosh.
What is this?
It's an apple cider spritzer, only available at the Elixir Lounge for our pajama party weekend on December 21st and 22nd.
Thank you so much, Drew.
This looks amazing.
Oh, cheers. I'm not used to a drink like this, but let's figure it out.
Nice.
Wow. It's an alcoholic bubbly cider. This is fantastic.
It's a spritzer.
Cool. You know what? These drinks remind me of those nights where you just sit back, some popcorn.
Watch a nice movie.
Got a couple movies for you.
And we're going to talk about them today.
Not yesterday?
No, today.
Today.
Today we're reviewing two movies. The first one is Wreck-It Ralph, and the second one is Mirai, which we had the privilege of being able to view, which was only available for 2 days in theaters here in Chicago. And we're going to get on to discussing the first one.
Alright, number one. From Walt Disney Animation Studios comes the action-packed adventure, Ralph Breaks the Internet. Ralph and fellow misfit Vanellope risk it all by traveling to the World Wide Web in search of a part to save her game, Sugar Rush.
Whoa, cool!
So they must rely on the citizens of the internet, including, yes, how the algorithm and heart and soul of the trend, making the site BuzzTube.
Miracle I've ever seen.
Welcome to the search bar. What can I help you find today? Umbrella, umbrage, umami.
No.
Noah's Ark, no doubt. Nordstrom Rack. Ergonomics, Urban Outfitters, cool.
I'm pretty sure he's just trying to guess what you're gonna say.
My autofill is a touch aggressive today.
Let me try. Take me to a website that's super intense and really nuts.
They end up way in over their heads as they enter the World Wide Web,
I only found one result.
meeting really cool characters that personify your favorite websites like YouTube, Google, and eBay.
And then they run into some near-death experiences too.
You're coming with us, kid.
Hi. Whoa, ladies, I'm a princess too.
What kind of a princess are you?
Do you have magic hair?
No.
Magic hands?
No.
Do animals talk to you?
No.
Were you poisoned?
No.
Cursed?
No.
Kidnapped or enslaved?
No. Are you guys okay? Should I call the police?
Do people assume all your problems got solved because a big, strong man showed up?
Yes. What is up with that?
She is a princess.
Ralph Breaks the Internet.
I'm not used to going to the theaters to watch kids' movies or animated films, but Antonio convinced me to see this one and I really liked it. What do you think?
I personally love animated films, so I was really psyched to see this movie. When I was in the theaters, I found myself laughing out loud at so many of the jokes, and so many of the adults were also laughing, as well as the children.
I'm with you there. There were a couple references in there, stuff like a Bob Ross cameo and other jokes. Even adult stuff that we find on the internet, just toiling around the dark corners of the web. They really made a point to slip in everything we enjoy about the internet as millennials and young adults. I think they really tried appealing to an older audience.
They definitely did that, and what I really ended up liking was the way that they characterized certain parts of the internet for children, such as giving characters to viruses, to websites, and stuff like that. I just thought it was really funny and very personable.
Remember that little snobby guy, the pop-up guy?
I definitely did. He was one of my favorite characters.
Congratulations, you're a winner.
Really? These 10 child stars went to prison. Number 6 will amaze you. That sounds interesting.
Ralph, come on.
One of the biggest things I watch for in movies is the animation, the direction, and character development.
In the movie, they personify a lot of parts of the internet that as adults, we understand the frustration, we understand the love of it, but as children, they personify these things for them to understand it through characters, which I really liked. So, what do you think, Steven? Would you recommend this movie to anyone?
Yeah, I would. Honestly, to all of my friends. One of the biggest points for me with movies is when there's passion behind the directing. It really shows in the film whether they tried hard or not. And at the beginning, we were delightfully surprised that the directors and the producers walked out onto the screen, not in person, but had a little video clip talking about the passion, their thought process, and putting all the points of the internet that they love into the film. And it showed throughout. The character development is great, the animation is fantastic, the music is really good, and while the ending is sort of cheesy, it's still, remember, a kid's movie. From beginning to end, Ralph Breaks the Internet, for me, it's a B+.
I would recommend it for all my friends as well as my family. I have a lot of nieces and nephews as well as brothers and sisters that would find it enjoyable to be able to do just a family night and laugh about the same things. There was a lot of relatable associations to like using the internet or just shopping online, which I know a lot of my family does, and so do I. I would rate it an A, but I think it's because I really love animated films.
So with a B+ and an A, we average at an A- rating for Ralph Breaks the Internet. An excellent movie.
I agree.
Well, this is really good.
Yeah, this is super good.
It's honestly a really good drink. If you stick around to the end, Drew's going to teach us how to make this at home. Our next movie for the day is a little bit more complicated. It's an animated film from Japan that aired in the US for only 2 days. Now, Japanese animated films, when made right, usually have a little bit more sustenance to the storyline than most people are used to. And this one is called Mirai no Mirai, also known as just Mirai. We had the privilege of watching it in Chicago when it aired for 2 days at its premiere at the AMC River East Theater. So the movie's about this little boy named Kun, and he ends up getting forgotten by his family when he has a new baby sister, and all the attention's on her and not on him anymore. He gets frustrated as a toddler and decides to run away from home, and as he does, he stumbles into the family garden and falls into this trippy universe, where he encounters his mother as a little girl, has a series of adventures with his baby sister who's all grown up to help him find his way home. And the way we look back on ourselves as we were kids, the things that we experienced throughout life that made us who we are.
But it's funner when it's messy. Great Grandpa?
Are you still scared?
I'm not scared.
Ever since the day you showed up on the doorstep, they've stopped paying attention to me. I got it.
So what you are trying to tell me is what you've lost is actually yourself.
But how do I get home?
Well, will you help me now?
Mm-mm.
These little things all come together to make up who we are today.
Let's go home. You're right from the future.
So while IMDb only gives this movie a 7.2 out of 10, if you check the Rotten Tomatoes user score, they give it a whopping 91%.
That's a big rating for Rotten Tomatoes.
Well, if you remember the Toy Story 2 movie, it got a 98%.
I can understand why.
Everybody loves Toy Story.
Who doesn't? I as well am well rehearsed in Studio Ghibli films or Miyazaki films, which I definitely love because they tend to play a role on growing up and coming of age, but this one is definitely hitting all of the notes that I really like about Miyazaki films that you don't normally see in other films.
But it's a completely different director.
It is a completely different director.
And a different studio too.
And the animation is very beautiful in the whole film throughout.
We saw these movies one after another, from Wreck-It Ralph to Mirai, and we were pleasantly surprised that at the end of Mirai, the director also comes out and talks about his passion behind the film.
So at the end of the movie, a lot of people started getting up, but we noticed that all around us, certain people kept sitting down and didn't get up. So we decided to stay and wait a little bit longer for the credits to finish rolling, and at the end of it, we got the biggest treat in the whole movie.
The director, Mamoru Hosoda, actually steps up and explains why he made this film. And instead of, one of those studios where they come up with a story, they write the whole thing out, this was more of a passion project for him.
The story was kind of inspired by his son telling him about a dream where he dreamed about meeting his sister in the future, like a grown version of his sister that helps him have sort of a character development as an older person.
So Hosoda runs with this and goes to his sketchboard and starts drawing out these characters. Mirai actually means future in Japanese, which personifies who she is.
He runs into her in this garden and he almost gains this access into what some people like to call the Akashic Records. So he's able to tap into this like microfiberness of what a family is and gains access to his ancestral planes of like his grandfather, and then at the same time is able to access the future parts of what his family is. And each time he gets to learn a part of character development that was sort of holding him back as to being a better person.
He really finds his parents' acid stash, but no comment.
That's exactly why he was tripping into the future. So we all remember trying to learn how to ride a bike, or if not, we have younger siblings that have learned how to ride a bike. And we see them struggling with trying to remove the training wheels because everyone else is riding bikes. And who doesn't want to do that when you're that young and you feel like a child? So
I want to be a part of the group.
Exactly. And then so Kun tries to give it a try. Is it Kun?
Yeah.
Kun tries to give it a try and he fails at first. And of course, as a child, has a tantrum. He gets angry at his dad and doesn't want to continue it. So without giving too much away, he does this time traveling event where he gets to meet a piece of his grandfather and realizes that these small little slip-ups are just leading to you learning a bigger lesson in life. It was really relatable on like the sense that things were very subtle, but so relatable. And the way the director combined the music, the score of the music, the animation, the character development, which is one note that I wanted to hit on, is all of the characters within the movie seem to have character development.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's one of the biggest lessons with Mirai is that as you go back through the generations, you tend to learn the little bits and pieces and lessons that our ancestors, our grandparents and great-grandparents learned that influence their children, and inevitably make us who we are.
Exactly. And at the end of the movie, I think we both had a very emotional moment where we cried, and we just...
I don't cry.
He cried. He cried more than I did.
I don't cry at all.
We related to this movie on a really personal level, and we really, really, really appreciated it. This was a great movie, and I think I would give this one an A+. What would you rate it as, Steven?
You know, hate to be cheesy, but I give this an A+ too.
Oh, okay, an A+ 2 times 2. What? I don't know what
I didn't say that. Based on everything involved, this is a really complex story to pull off.
It is a very complex story to pull off. It's more complex, of course, as opposed to Wreck-It Ralph. That one's a more...
It was kid-centric, honestly.
It was kid-centric, and it's easier to understand. It's easier dissected. With Mirai, it delves deeper into your subconscious. It delves deeper into your emotions, and it pulls out more things that you forget were there, I guess, in a sense. And you remembered these childlike developments that you had along with your parents, along with your siblings. And it's just really grounding in the end of it, which made me really emotional.
Through and through. A touching story that, honestly, anyone should see.
It's relatable. Everyone should see it. I definitely agree, Steven.
As opposed to Wreck-It Ralph, this is one I'm going to buy on DVD. This is one that's worth having on the shelf.
I definitely agree. This is definitely one that I would buy on DVD just so that I could keep on my shelf and let my friends borrow so they can experience the same thing I did.
Mm-hmm. So Wreck-It Ralph and Mirai are both movies about family, getting together, helping each other out, and overall coming to an end. I'd say Wreck-It Ralph was more of a kid's movie, right?
Wreck-It Ralph is definitely more of a kid's movie. There's a lot more thinking having to do with Mirai that is a little bit more... You would have to almost be an adult to understand the progression of being a child to adulthood and understanding the steps between that and then relating to it.
Whereas Wreck-It Ralph, you're allowed to be a kid on this one.
Which is the main part that I loved about it. I laughed so much throughout that one.
That one actually had most of the belly laughs. So Wreck-It Ralph Breaks the Internet really hits a high point on my list. But for my taste, since I'm more of an intellectual movie guy, Mirai takes the cake.
So if you're trying to watch a family movie with your kids, I would definitely recommend Wreck-It Ralph.
If you want to dive into your brain a little bit more and gain a greater appreciation for where you came from, do a little bit of psychological thinking, go for Mirai. Wow, holy crap, we got through that!
Gucci. Just as a disclosure, this is our first video we've ever done, so sound off in the comment section below, let us know which movies you'd like us to review, and let us know what you thought about our first movie review. Wow, this was really good. Do you think I could have another?
Do you want me to just show you how to make it?
I would love that.
Perfect. Alright, so this is the apple cider spritzer that we'll be featuring at Elixir Lounge Lakeview on our pajama party weekend, December 21st and 22nd. The reason I chose this cocktail is because if you're going to make a holiday cocktail or host a holiday party, you don't want to be shaking cocktails all night. So this is a quick build in the glass, everyone, really quick and easy, and it's very enjoyable. First thing you're going to do is you're going to rim the glass with cinnamon and sugar, like this. And then we've chosen Laird's Applejack, which is just an apple whiskey. You could choose any of your easiest ones to get. We've made a quick cinnamon simple syrup, which is easy, just equal parts cinnamon and sugar. Let it simmer for a good 20 to 30 minutes on the stove. Gonna add ice at this point. Any apple cider will work, organic is best. Fill it to about that place because you need some space for the bubbles. Top it off with a Prosecco. Garnish with a cinnamon stick, and you're all set.
Thank you so much, guys, for joining us on our first episode of 5 o'clock. We had a blast making this episode. We want to thank Jazzy over at Chicago Male Salon for doing all our hair. We want to thank Drew for making this amazing drink for us. And especially Elixir Lounge Lakeview for hosting us to film our first episode. They've got a pajama party from December 21st through 22nd, where they're going to be featuring this amazing apple cider drink. We're going to be back there for that. We'd love to see you guys there. Tune in next time.
Followed suit. No, that was good.
That was amazing.
You did really good.
That was